This protects the horse from rocks, hard ground, anything. If I take my knife and I take this layer of callus off, now I expose a young frog. I expose material that was not ready to touch the ground. So that may be enough to cause soreness. Here is how simple a trim can be if you keep your horse on a short trim schedule. This horse has slightly thin sole. He's had thin sole for a while. I wonder if he might have damaged something in the past. So I'm just bringing those bars a little closer to sole height without overdoing it. Cleaning up into my white line here, make sure there's nothing hiding here. Looks good. It's extremely dry right now, so everything is very, very hard, which is great for them, not so much for me. Open up this little flap here. Make sure no moisture gets trapped underneath, but I don't need to do too much because it's very, very dry right now. So looks pretty good. You see when you're in a when your frog is maintained and it's dry environment, if you can hear this, this is the sound that the hoof wall makes. Sole does something similar, and frog does something similar. It calluses in a very hard material, and this protects the horse from rocks, hard ground, anything. If I take my knife and I take this layer of callus off, now I expose a young frog. I expose material that was not ready to touch the ground. So that may be enough to cause soreness in the horse. So you need to keep that into consideration. Another thing that it can do too is this protects them from bacteria as well. So thrush, fungal infection, this callus protects them from that. So if you take your knife and just cut this whole layer off, you actually expose the tissue to infection or any bacteria that may enter and invade the tissue. So this horse really doesn't need anything on the frog. Needs a break. Okay, so if I split this frog in 3 and I put that distance in front of the apex, I'm kind of about here. So it's looking pretty good. I don't have much flare here. He's due for a quick trim, so I do need to roll that toe all the way around. He tends to flare at the quarters. You can see the difference if we look at this distance here that we know was correct, and I put it here. You see I have slight flare, and you can really see the ridge here. Usually when it ridges like that, it usually means you have a flare, or it's very, very actually a good indicator if on top of that you have your distance is longer than what you're measuring at the toe. So I've maintained his quarters pretty well, so we don't have a whole lot of flaring, but that's what I'm going to do now. Because I've maintained the hoof quite regularly, I basically don't need my nippers. I can just start rolling with my rasp. Now I'm lowering the parts that are a little higher, just above sole plane. In this horse, I really don't need to roll in any shorter where the white line is because I have nice tight connection. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start rolling just after the white line. Heels are looking good. I really don't need to do much other than maybe making sure they're balanced. And when I get past the heel, right up here, I start rolling. Because you don't want to carry the heel height at the quarters. Because the hoof naturally has this arch. So right when you get past the heel, the hoof has to go down. This arch imitates the bone. The coffin bone has that exact arch. So by making sure you let that arch be, you're not creating extra pressure. If you keep that flat, straight, like this, you'll often see a chip at the quarter. You'll see the hoof trying to relieve that pressure just naturally. Or you'll see the coronet bend being pushed up higher because of that excess pressure, because the bone can't come down or the hoof can't come down. It's stopped by the extra hoof wall right here. Okay. Same thing here. I just stay above sole plane, so if I run my hoof pick or my finger, you'll just feel the edge right here. Yeah, you can tell. In this one, it's got a nice bowl up here, so I'm maintaining that because this is also my depth. But at the quarters, I have a flare, so I have the sole isn't bowling out as well because I have quarter flares on this horse. Especially, you can see it's a little, if you put your rasp straight in the center and you compare both sides, a little more flare on the outside, which is very common on the outside of the foot due to the way they move, or some horses move, I should say. So now I'm gonna do my Mustang roll, holding my rasp at about 45-degree angle all the way around, not just at the toe. And I know this horse has flaring at the quarter, so I'm not going to be shy and really roll the quarters well. This one not as much, this one a little more. And on the outside over here. It's a little tiny line right here that you can see. I'm not worried about this too much. A little bacteria probably got in there when it was really, really wet here. But it's very small, and by next trim, this will be gone, so I'm not worried about it. If I keep that roll in it too, the movement of the horse will naturally clean that area, so nothing will pack in there. So I'm just matching the outside of this trim, this foot. This weird looking coronet band here is due to the extra moisture we've had for a while, and now it's been extra dry, so it's a too extreme, just causing this look here.